Okay, so today what we're gonna do is upgrade this coach that has two 4G internet connections on a Transit Duo Pro with Starlink, and we're gonna synergize another 8 Transit Duo Pro so he has more internet connections. So we have our new 8 Transit Duo Pro, we have a new antenna, 40G, we have a box I'm gonna install on the roof. We're gonna get creative here. I got a little access panel that I'm gonna install for him. That way he can run his Starlink wherever he wants or when he needs it. And then we're gonna synergize it with the Transit Pro that he already has that I've already installed. And so that's the mission today. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So this guy works out of his mobile RV and he's a sales call center. So he has to have phone all the time. It's mission critical to his operation. So I can do this install with 0 downtime. So what I have to do is actually remove the antenna that's already there, run the new antennas on the box without taking him down so that he can continue to run his business from his RV. So he's gonna be running on Starlink and Wi-Fi WAN that's using a T-Mobile hotspot while I unhook the 4G cell modems. We'll add the synergized device and then we're gonna move the Starlink to the synergized device. That's gonna be the new WAN for the network. And so he's gonna have 0 downtime. He's gonna continue to operate and answer his phone calls while I'm working. And we're gonna synergize this Transit Duo Pro into his existing network. The box I'm gonna install on the roof, I'm gonna put 2 holes in it, one here and one here. And I'm gonna install the new antenna here. And then I'm gonna drill a hole in the side for the service box. I'm gonna install and seal the service panel that we're gonna install. And then I'm gonna drill a hole in the box floor that's gonna go for the roof, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. Okay, so here's my access panel for my Starlink cable that's gonna be installed. So I've got my access panel and I've got my 2 antenna spots. So now I'm gonna install one of the antennas and I gotta go on the roof and get the other antenna. There's my bottom hole. Here's my service hole for the Starlink. And then I've got my 40G installed with my cables. So now let's go to the roof and figure this thing out. So here's my original antenna. Here's our new system here. So I've got my new antenna right here. I've got my box and my alcohol swabs and my glue. So what I'm gonna do is just scrape up that antenna, remount it right there, and then put this box right there, and I'll alcohol swab and glue the box to the roof. If you're worried, this box is not even as tall as his solar panel and way under the height of the antennas of the air conditioning unit. And he has this garbage product right here, and the box is way under the height of that. Even with the 1.5 inches of the antennas, we're under the height of the wine guard. So this box with the antennas is not gonna be too high. It's way lower than the other items on his roof. So I'm spraying 91% alcohol on it. This is gonna evaporate the water. You can see how wet the roof is right now. So then I've got my towels, and I'm gonna dry up, and I'm gonna try not to hit the edges where I've already wiped, so I don't bring any moisture onto the surface that I'm trying to dry. So I kind of created a boundary here, and what I need for the glue and everything to adhere is it to be sticky to the touch, so it's still a little bit moist. So I'm gonna keep going until it's tacky to the touch. That way all the moisture has been dried from it. So I'm gonna do another round of alcohol. And you would say, oh, well, don't stop spraying the alcohol and it'll dry. You'd be surprised how quickly that stuff evaporates. What it's doing is it's evaporating the water content on the roof inside that top. So I can wrap this down, and I can already see, I can feel this getting drier as the alcohol is evaporating all the moisture on the roof.
Also gonna dry the bottom of my box and make sure it's tacky to the touch, because I was drilling holes and I had it setting down. So now it's nice and tacky. I sprayed the alcohol on it and cleaned that. So now it's dry to the touch. This is very tacky. My finger actually gets stuck on it a little bit. That's perfect. So now I'm gonna put some glue down, and then I'll align the holes up, and then I'll drill holes through, piercing the glue. There we go. We have our screws in, a nice good bead that's squished out on the sides, and that's a clean install with my first ever access panel for Starlink, or future expandability. Okay, so I've got my 2 antennas set up and installed. I ran the cables down. Then I ran a little conduit here that allows him to see the run his USB-C cable. So here's this guy's portable Starlink into the service door with the dual 40G antennas mounted. So he can remove and add and place this Starlink anywhere he wants. I think eventually he wants to get a pole, which is why we're not mounting it, because he wants to mount it to a flagpole. But for right now, it's just set right there. So I've got this is the old router with the Starlink connected. Here's the new router. And so you can see it's online. Well, at least one of the SIM cards is online finally. So I'm gonna update this to 8.3. Then I'm gonna log in, and then I'm gonna disable in-control configuration for this device and factory reset it. When I factory reset it, I'll plug a cable from the LAN to the WAN. That's gonna take his Starlink down, and then I plug his Starlink WAN into this one WAN. This WAN will become a WAN of this router. The 2 cellulars will become a WAN of this router. And then the Wi-Fi on this router will become a Wi-Fi WAN dedicated over here. So now his Wi-Fi here can be dedicated for his Wi-Fi LAN, and this will become his dedicated Wi-Fi WAN. So he'll have 2 Wi-Fi WANs, 4 cellular, and 1 Ethernet WAN on this synergized dual Transit Duo Pro. Okay, so I've got the Transit Duo. I'm programming Synergy mode, and he's on the phone working while I'm doing this, actively on calls. And I'm moving the SIM cards around, I moved the Starlink around. Okay, so this is really cool. So this tube is a tube that allows him to pull his USB-C cable up to the roof. So he has a junction box on the roof. So this just, you slide it up, super easy for him to self-service access to the roof. I've got the antennas coming down here, and they trunk in. So I've got 2 antennas on the roof. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got the Transit Duo Pro has a Cat 7 and a Cat 12. So cell 1 is Cat 7, cell 2 is Cat 12. That gives him the T-Mobile Band 71 on the Cat 7. And then he runs the AT&T and Verizon on Cat 12. The LAN port of the synergized goes into the WAN port of the host. This creates a GRE tunnel and basically brings the Wi-Fi and cellular and Ethernet WANs over to the host. So we only have 1 management device. And these internet connections come over here to this device. The Starlink is connected into the WAN of this device, which is then shows up over here. The Wi-Fi WAN of his T-Mobile 5G home is 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi plugged into the host device as Wi-Fi WAN. I'm going to plug in the Wi-Fi here, so he'll have another Wi-Fi WAN as well. And then I've got his cables coiled up right there, and they just go to the roof. The entire time I've done this install, I've been flip-flopping between Wi-Fi WAN, Starlink, and cellular, and he has never lost a phone call or been dropped from his work yet. So pretty cool. Never done an install where I'm not allowed to take the customer down during the install, and it was a lot of fun. This is Mr. Coleman. Nickname, right?
Yes, sir.
So what do you do, and why do you need this crazy setup?
Well, I sell used auto parts for a living, so having a VoIP phone with a constant connection and always needing to be, with my active inventory for customers, I have to have good internet at all times. I'm used to cable modems at home, but, I needed the next best thing for the road, and this is what it is. So the quality of the internet was better for me than the fastness of the speed, so this is why I went with this option here.
So that's why we're going with 4 4Gs instead of multiple 5Gs. That gives you the diversity and resiliency versus the high speed.
Correct. Yeah, I wasn't really concerned with high speed. I just need good quality internet.
Awesome. And so right now we have three cellular 4G cellulars, right? We have AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon.
Yes.
Then we have a T-Mobile 5G Wi-Fi WAN. That's your T-Mobile 5G home internet.
Correct. Yes.
And then we also have a Starlink.
Yes.
That we have. And so what we've done, let's go take a look at it. So we're going to go upstairs here. So we installed this upstairs for him. And so we have a UPS here. And then we have 2 transit duos. So this is your master transit duo, or the host. So we call this the Synergy host. The WAN, the WAN of the transit host talks to the LAN of the synergized transit. That makes the 2 cellular, the 1 Wi-Fi, and the 1 Ethernet WAN become part of this router.
Okay.
So this router now has 1, 2, 3, 4 cellular, 2 Wi-Fi, and 1 Ethernet WAN as its capabilities. Plugged into the WAN of the synergized device, we have the Starlink. And then plugged in, and then Wi-Fi WAN, we have the T-Mobile 5G internet. The antennas are plugged in back here, and then you have your SIM cards right here. So we have host 1 and 2, A and B, synergized 1 and 2. They're right here. You can just click them and pop them out pretty easily right there. Right, then we have the 8 cellular antennas going up through the roof, and I installed this blue conduit. This goes up to a junction box with a waterproof door that we can run the Starlink, and this is 75 feet. He can have this outside. He can have it on a pole. You can do whatever you want with it. I think you're going to mount it to a flagpole, right?
Yeah, we have a flagpole. In fact, the nice thing about that is it'll be another 3 or 4 feet above the roof of the camper.
Oh, that's going to be nice.
So, yeah.
Let's go look up on the roof.
All right.
Okay, so we have the Starlink just kind of sitting here chilling. This can go anywhere. You can pull this cable. So we have a door right here, and the door opens up, and we've sealed all around that conduit right there.
Yeah, that was great.
So it's fully sealed up. When this shuts, that's all you have is that little 1-inch hole right there. And that gives you easy access. You can actually pull this cable all the way out and slide it all the way up without any issues. So this makes your Starlink very mobile. Then we have our 2 5G antennas ready for you.
Okay.
Each of these antennas has the 4 antenna cables inside of it, and the GPS. So this is your primary, your host transit, and then your synergized transit. We can expand it to 2 more if we wanted to.
Okay.
So this gives you great capability to expand it, and then you can also just unscrew that and then have easy access to the single penetration of the roof. I sealed this box down, and then I sealed it on the edges, and then I sealed the grommet, and then I sealed it when I glued it and I snapped it together. With the exception of rain going down in this right here, that's about the extent of what you're gonna have. This is also only 5.5 inches tall, which is less than the wine guard and your antennas. So we did this entire install, and you were on the phone the whole time.
Yeah, I didn't lose 1 call.
So we disconnected the cellular. You ran off Starlink. I connected the cellular, disconnected the Starlink, and then we moved the hotspot, the T-Mobile. So we disconnected the Wi-Fi WAN and moved it upstairs to get rid of all the cables and clean it up. And then we enabled the Synergy mode, activated those SIM cards, added those to the SpeedFusion tunnel, and the entire time you were working with seamlessly. So kind of neat process there, and a really fun install. So
yeah, definitely.
So
Peter made it worth the while.